Well, welcome, it's Mike here. Today I'm going to take you through the East Gardens of the Imperial Palace here in Tokyo, Japan. Now, most people think you can just walk inside the Imperial Palace, but you can't. The only part open to the public is right here, the East Gardens. Today I'm going to take you through the gates, across the old samurai grounds, and into one of the most peaceful places in Tokyo. This is the closest you'll ever get to the Emperor's home. As we're walking down the path here, the old moat is still intact. It's a massive moat on both sides of this bridge. The actual East Gardens are huge, 210,000 square metres or 52 acres. So sit back, I'm going to take you through these beautiful grounds, and it's one of the highlights of Tokyo. Have a look at the size of those stone blocks. So as a foreigner coming to Tokyo for the first time and coming to the East Gardens of the Imperial Palace, just the size of this parkland's green setting, and when you take into account it's right in the middle of the biggest city on earth, Tokyo, with skyscrapers all around it, it's just an amazing setting. So glad they've kept it. The temperature in Tokyo has been about 20 degrees. Today might be a bit warmer. Could be heading towards 22 at the moment. But of course it's got humidity, so you don't feel any cold. Now I've come across the guardhouse here. 1603 to 1867. Low-ranking samurai known as doshbins or constables manned this guardhouse. It's a fascinating walk through here because it's sometimes called the Samurai City, this area. It was part of the Edo period of Japan, which was from 1603 to 1868. So for over 260 years, this quiet garden I'm walking through was once the centre of the world, ruled by the samurai. So, as I said, 1603 to 1868, Japan was governed by the Tokugawa shogun, and they were a military government based right here in the gardens, the site that I'm about to walk through. Back then, this wasn't a peaceful park as it is today. This is basically now a tourist attraction, one of the biggest in Japan. But back then it was an inner fortress of the largest samurai city in history. Tens of thousands of samurai worked inside these walls, guarding gates, managing records, running courts, and protecting the shogun. The higher-ranking samurai lived in residence surrounding the castle, while the most elite, the hatamoto, served directly under the shogun himself. So here, every moat, every stone wall, every foundation you see was once part of the massive defensive system designed to protect Japan's most powerful ruler. That's a big guardhouse. Have a look at the size of the stone walls around this property. Absolutely huge grounds here. When you look at the size of Tokyo, then you see greenery like this. To leave this land would have taken a lot of discipline over the years, because Tokyo, of course, needs ground, needs land for its population, building apartments and everything. But have a look at this. I bet you they're glad they kept it now, this area. I am busting for a drink. I'm hoping this might be some sort of cafe or something. Oh, it might not be. Yeah. So what we've got here is a model of Edo Castle, 5-level model. It was the headquarters of the Tokugawa shogun from 1603 to 1868. It wasn't the emperor's home, it was the samurai government residence. So the people who lived here were the shogun, high-ranking samurai officials, hatamoto, magistrates, bureaucrats, castle guards and staff. So Edo Castle was the centre of the largest samurai city in history. So what happened from here was in 1868, there was the Boshan War, where reformist samurai wanted modernisation of Japan. The reformists won, the shogun resigned, and the emperor became the national leader of Japan once again. So the emperor moved from Kyoto to Tokyo in 1868. The Edo Castle was renamed the Imperial Palace. Tokyo became Japan's capital once again. The original Edo Castle that we looked at there in the model burned down in 1873. Only the moats, stone walls and foundation and gates survived. A new palace was built in the late 1800s, but that was damaged by World War II. So currently there's a main palace which was built in 1968. So the emperor lived in that built in 1968 until 1993, when Fukiage Palace was built and the emperor moved into that. So the 1968 building now is just used for state ceremonies, New Year's greetings, diplomatic receptions, etc. So in actual fact, the emperor still lives on these grounds in the building that was built, the palace, in 1993. It's heavily secured. It's deep into the forest of the parklands, and unfortunately you cannot visit it as a tourist here. I don't know what's in here. It's a view. It's a lookout. Nearly killed me getting up here. Anyway, that gives you a bit of an idea. All the skyscrapers around it, and you got this slice of parklands. Right in the middle. So there's a lot of walking in there, beautiful though. So I'll come out another exit, another gate here. See, the fortress has these, I don't know how many gates it's got, but I'll put it up on screen if I find. So there it is, that's the original wall structure, and look at the moat. The moat that went around it. Yes, I hope you enjoyed the gardens. The eastern gardens of the palace. The Emperor's Palace, which we couldn't see. The whole mechanism of it is to let as many people through to see the gardens. No charge, so it's good that way. But yes, the palace was nowhere to be seen. So I think that's well worth to look to if you're coming here. As I said, there is no centre of Tokyo. This is a highly built up commercial area, a lot of skyscrapers, but that is a massive piece of land right in amongst it all. So just incredible to go there and have a witness them leaving so much land has survived for hundreds of years. Because obviously the big temptation would have been to all that land to develop it, but they've kept it with the moat, so that's fantastic. It's probably one of their biggest tourist attractions, I'd say. I've walked into a building, and I've walked into some type of restaurant here, but I don't know what it is. It's a Japanese building, I think, full of Japanese employees, and I'm the only Westerner in here, so but the menu was good. The menu was good. Hamburger with well done steak, fries, vegetables. So lunchtime, so I've just walked in off the street here. I don't know what's going to happen, whether I'm supposed to be here or not. So that turns out to be quite a nice little meal, that. A little bit of steak, which is nice. Yes, forward to that. Now I know where I was, the palace side building. So I was lucky, I just walked in off the street, and this is a commercial building, but there's all these little restaurants under the ground. And the prices are pretty good too. Look at the ladies, look. 650 yen. Look at that. Very good. See, the prices are a lot better here. Now, believe me, that is good price for steak. That is good price for steak here in Tokyo. Very good.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, I tell you, there's so. Look, I'll tell you, I'd hate to think how many restaurants there are in Tokyo. This is sort of a bar, this one. Yeah, very good. Very nice. See the food. They do these little food plates out the front too. They all put these food plates out the front, which are very good. So when I see prices like that, incredibly cheap prices. And we're talking about the biggest city in the world, 35 million people. Of course, Tokyo's got the best of everything. You can go and have a 5-star lunch in a restaurant and pay an enormous amount. But when I see the cost of food here, and don't fool yourself, it's cheaper here than it is back in my home city and country of Australia. People talk about the prices. Well, I'll tell you, coming to Japan, the food prices are cheaper. You can eat pre-packaged food like that, beautiful and fresh food, very, very cheaply. It's everywhere you go. I was lucky to come across this mall across from the Imperial Palace, and the prices down here were incredible. So, very lucky, but just proved to me that Japan, I don't know how they've done it, but they've managed to keep the price of food down. So if you managed to get through to this part of the video, nearly to the end, I appreciate that very much. Look, I'm getting a few subscribers, but not nearly enough to get to 1,000. So if you've enjoyed the video and you want to subscribe, that would be greatly appreciated by me. Thank you very much. Yeah, I think that's a little restaurant food court area for employees, I'd say, which I am not. Anyway, that was well worth it. That was a nice little meal, that. Now, I don't know where I am, as usual. You've got no idea. All you've got to do now is look for the closest subway. So I'll start walking this way, only because I haven't been this way, so